Hello, CQ, the Old Friends Net, calling CQ, the Old Friends Net. This is N4LQ, the Old Friends Net, here on 160, 1864, using Amplitude Modulation tonight. And we will attempt to communicate through all the QRM from the broadcaster down on 1860. Anybody wishing to check in, call in 4LQ.
W4JPL.
Good evening, John, W4JPL. I'm sure glad you showed up tonight to keep me company, and I hope you can copy through all the garbage down below. But I guess garbage is different things to different people. So, how's things up there in Liberty? And did you get a lot of rain? We got 1.25 inches of rain here last night and this morning. W4JPL, N4LQ.
K4QE.
There's Uncle Tony. Yeah, we got about 1.5 inches of rain here today. I don't know what we got yesterday. I have to look here. Let me see. I'll first turn the light on so I can see the silly thing. Put it in rain mode. 1.66 today, and nothing yesterday. That's weird. Okay. Well, we got 1.66 inches, so busy day, working on crap as usual on the house, and I did go out and to buy that NC303 with the speaker and came home with a whole car full of stuff, so oh boy. N4LQ, W4JPL.
Okay. You have to tell me more about this NC300. Good evening, Tony. Good to hear you. Let me check, see if anybody else wants to join us.
W84EBK.
Good evening, Boone. Anybody else? Okay, we got Boone, WA4EBK, right after Tony, the K4QE. K4QE, go ahead.
All right, good evening. And hello to John, hello to Steve, hello to Boone. Glad to hear you all tonight. I know it's been a while since I've been on, but things have been kind of hectic around here. Went back to work this week, so yeah, it's been a bit of a thing. So anyway, I'm glad to be back, and I guess I'll pass it along to Boone, WA4EVK. Good evening from K4QE.
K4QE, WA4EBK. Thanks, Tony. didn't get everybody's call. I got JPL, Steve. I don't know how you guys are copying me in low wattage here, but it's been an interesting day. Worked a lot of AM up on 40 meters on 7.25 or 295. Anyway, I think we'll probably go back to you, Steve. So N4QL, WA4, N4LQ, WA4EVK.
All right, Boone, real good. WA4EVK, N4LQ. Do we have any more check-ins to the net? Call now. All right, well, we're copying you here okay, Boone, no problem at all. Well, you're not exactly pinning my meter, but considering the power level, the mode, and the level of the noise, you're doing really good. And Tony, I hadn't heard you for a while, beginning to wonder what happened to you, but back to work. So did you get your whatever that was, a recumbent, what was that thing? Recumbent set down treadmill or whatever that thing was. Wonder if you got that and how you like it. Well, I guess, see, this is Saturday, so Thursday we went to Spartanburg and had a meeting with the old friends group up there in Spartanburg at the Golden Corral, and it was a lively meeting. Several presentations broke out, and it's a lot of fun. Had some good conversations. Got to talk to Boone and a few other folks that I hadn't talked to before. So, yeah, tell me about everything about that 300, John. W4JPL, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ and the group W4JPL. Well, it's a 303, National 303 with a speaker. It's dirty, but it looks unmolested, so nothing that a little bit of elbow grease and probably a recap and won't fix. That's going to have to wait, but at least I got it. It's not as clean as I was hoping, but it's unmolested, so, you know, clean the chassis, recap it, give the cabinet a spray, and I'll have a nice working receiver. I also picked up, I don't know why, but I picked up a Marauder and a Ranger. And if anybody wants a Marauder or a Ranger, they can have them for $100 each. I don't even want to be bothered with them. I got 3 working Rangers. I don't feel like dealing with another one. So it was there, and I just basically gave what I want to sell it for, just to help the lady out. I got some 2-meter CB stuff, and a radio that I'm playing around with at UBITX or something. It's an Indian transceiver. It seems to work, but the VFO won't do anything. So I'm going to troubleshoot it, see if it's the encoder or if it's something deeper inside the radio. Finding the information on this is not so easy. K4QE W4JPL.
Okay, John, we're good. Steve, on a quick check, I didn't hear what you asked me because you went into a selective fade here. What was it you were asking me?
I was asking you about your new exercise machine, if you had received that yet, and how you liked it.
Ah, okay, yeah. Well, yes, we did receive it on time, and it's fabulous. It's everything I expected it to be. The quality is very, very good. Excellent, in fact. I've used it several times. I try to use it every day, although I have not done that since we got it. But I've used it a lot of days, and I am extremely happy with it, and so are my kids and my wife. So I think we're good. I highly recommend it. I think it's worth every penny, to be honest. I can certainly understand why everyone was always gravitating to them at the rehab center that I used to go to. So I am very happy with my purchase decision. I got a bit of bad news over the holidays. My wife needs to have it. My wife was diagnosed with cancer, but the prognosis is very good. It was caught early. She's going to have some surgery done to remove it, and that's going to happen later this month. Less than a couple weeks, in fact. And again, the prognosis is very good. So we're both comfortable with what's happening, and she's gonna have a bit of a recovery to deal with, but at least she'll be alive. And there's unless they find something else when they're in there, chances are it will not return. So that's a bit of bad news, but on the good side, it was caught early, so we're real happy about that. And over to you, Boone, WA4EVK from K4QE.
K4QE in the group, WA4EVK. Well, fine business on the exercise machine. I'm going to take a guess here from what Steve said and ask you if you got a recumbent bicycle. That's my weapon of choice at the Y. More comfortable than a standard stationary bike. For me, it is anyway. It was a pretty interesting day. Had several QSOs up on 7.290 in the area. It's kind of interesting. Stan, W4KR, and I called a guy in Maryland at the same time. We ended up in a QSO with him and a guy out in Indianapolis, and the two of us close by, of course, had the worst reception from each other. Propagation is a wondrous beast. And it was something else. But 40 was just open. Otherwise, the foreign broadcast guys come in about 4 o'clock. So it was an interesting day. And with that, I'm going to send on up to you, Steve. N4LQ, WA4EVK.
Okay, anybody else out there that would like to join? Call in 4LQ. I don't hear anybody. Okay, we're running about 90 watts. 90 watts here, running the old Johnson Viking one, and which I have done another repair job on and managed to get it going again. It was totally rebuilt, but the dial string, which is not really a dial string, but it's a string that is used to couple the knob on the front panel up to a switch on the top of the chassis. Of all things, everything is built like a tank, and except for the weak link, which is a string of all things. I just can't believe the ideas that some manufacturers come up with. But we're talking 1/4-inch thick steel brackets, big, beautiful capacitors and ceramic switches, and a lousy piece of dental floss hooking it all together. It just doesn't make sense. And there's no way that I could get to it to replace it without tearing the whole thing down and probably messing up another dial string. There's 2 strings in the thing. So what I did was install a relay, took the switch out, put a relay in, and put a simple toggle switch on the front panel instead of the knob, and now you just flip the switch instead of turn the knob, and it really looks natural and really a lot easier to use. And all it did was enable you to switch in and out a coil that activates the network, the tank circuit for 160. So I guess it was sort of an afterthought, really. I think there probably was a better way to have done it. And real fine, Boone, on the 40-meter multiple pile-up QSO with Rick and all those other guys. That's pretty good. And I haven't talked to anybody except for tonight. That's it. The last couple of days I've been sitting here doing other things, working on rigs, and now I've got Lee's AF68 power supply sitting here. Then I'm gonna put a filter choke in it, and I'm gonna have to order one, I believe. There's no way that the average filter choke will fit in the thing without major modifications. So I think I've located one. I'm going to try. I'm going to order it. It's a Chinese thing, but we'll see how it works out. It's kind of difficult to get specs on it. And Tony, sorry about your XYL, and we'll be thinking about her and hope she pulls through well and gets that all taken care of. I think I know a little bit about that business, and what she's, I haven't experienced that kind of surgery, but close to it. And my daughter had been through the same type of thing, and it took a while to recover. But anyway, and real fine on the dirty NC303. I've been watching some videos on YouTube about cars. There's a bunch of guys that go out in the woods and drag these cars out of the woods and out of junkyards and patch them up and repair them. And for the most part, they end up sitting around the farm, just sitting there. I don't know. It's an obsession, I think, to collect that stuff. And they've of course they don't have any way of protecting them from the weather, and they usually don't get them painted. And the bad thing is they don't usually sell them. So you're doing good getting rid of the stuff you don't want. And I'll pass the word along. If anybody needs a Ranger or a Marauder, then you're the guy to see. I've had plenty of Rangers. I don't think I want another one. Ranger's kind of an in-between rig. It's a little bit or way too much power to drive an amplifier, so it has to be throttled back by some means, and it's not enough power on its own. You're better off with a Valiant or a Viking, or a Viking 1 or 2 or something like that. Anyway, exercise. Glad you like your machine, Tony. I haven't done much walking the last few days. It's just too cold and yucky outside. Went out yesterday and dug a ditch before the rain and got the water diverted where I want to, so that might keep the erosion down a little bit. W4JPL, over to you, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ and the group W4JPL. Fine busyness. And I talked to Tony about that situation today. He come over and give me a hand for a moment. And we chatted about this, that, and the other as usual. Ranger's got a clean front panel. Cabinet, of course, wants a repaint, which that ain't a big deal. Conan Brown fixes it up every time. But I've got 3 working Rangers now, and I don't feel like going to the expense of rebuilding it and putting one of those D-Labs PTT modules in it, blah, blah, blah. So that's a cheap way for somebody to get into a Ranger. It looks complete. It looks unmolested. So, yeah, if anybody is interested, let me know. No big deal. Got them put aside. Maybe I'll take them to a Hamfest in a few months. So that's all that's happening here. I took a part of my day, and the project working with Maggie on the house took a better part of my day. So I got 2 more days of this nonsense. Of course, tomorrow we'll be in church for half a day, so once we get back from church, I guess I got a quick bit of tuna and a little bit of chips, and then back to work. K4QE, W4JPL.
Okay, John, very good. And Steve, thank you for the well wishes. Appreciate that very much. And any prayers y'all can say for us would be greatly appreciated. And but like I said, I think we have it under control. I certainly hope we do. And the doctor gave her a good prognosis. There's they did after they found after they determined that there was something there. They did biopsies and an ultrasound and so on, and they think they have a good handle on the situation. So, and based on what I've seen, I am also confident that they do. But once you get in there may be a surprise. So we are hoping for the best and prepared for the worst. So I have been wanting to get an AM station here with tube gear. I keep hemming and hawing about it. I would go back and forth about whether I should or should not, and so on. And and I see John come home with this stuff, and I'm like, oh, geez, I'd really like to, but then I look back on it, and I'm like, I don't have the tools or the know-how to really take care of these things, and I really don't want to have to depend on someone else to do it for me. It's one thing with a new radio, one of these rice boxes where these things are too damn complicated for anybody else to work on anyway. You got to send it back to an authorized repair center or something of that nature. That's a different story. But when you're talking about a 50 or 60 or more year-old rig, I don't really want to be in that position. So, but I don't know. Like I said, I keep going back and forth about it. I'm probably doing too much paralysis by analysis. But anyway, I'll send over to you, Boone, WA4EVK. This is K4QE.
Steve, I think I heard Mir in there also, by the way. The K4QE in the group, WA4EVK. Yeah, Tony, well wishes for your wife. I really hope that comes your way. Sure has everybody here pulling for her. I've been through that. I think y'all are looking at it right anyway. I don't kind of say it. But anyway, I kind of agree with you, Tony. What I found is owning a boat anchor is kind of a work in progress. I don't know how else to put it. So, like you say, one way you've got to work on them and so forth, and the other way, unless you're highly qualified, you just put it in the box and send it to them because they didn't want you to do it to start with, expect you to put it in the box and send it back to them. And with that, I'm going to send it up to Steve to see if he's here near N4LQ, WA4EVK.
Okay, real good. Solid copy with everybody. And good evening, Mir. Got you here right after Boone, and then back to me. So go ahead and make you a transmission there, Mir, WF2U, N4LQ.
We're N4LQ and the group, this is WF2U. Just Steve, could you give me a quick report before I continue, over?
You're loud and clear, about 10 over 9. Good copy.
Okay, Roger. Very good. This is WF2U. Good evening, everyone. I only heard Boone and you. Both are pretty strong. I'm using the JRC transceiver now. My trip to Harley's was very successful, and I found the proper Molex connector housing, and I got the pins. I built the power cable, and everything. It works like a charm. Let's see, it's putting out, hello. Oh, wow. It has about 80 watts, 80 to 90 watts carrier with a little upswing on AM. And it's not a peak reading meter, so I'm glad it sounds okay. The microphone is my Electro Voice low impedance mic that I bought for $25 at Shelby last summer, knowing that I'll eventually need a low impedance microphone. And also, several days ago, I got the proper microphone connector, so everything is working with that. So I'm glad, finally. Anyway, so you both are strong, and I don't know who else is here. And of course, the antenna is the usual 160 meter end-fed half wave. So I don't know who it goes to. I guess it goes to you, to the head of the line here. So N40, oh yeah, I have to give it to Boone. No, Boone was before me. So I'll give it to you anyway. N40Q WF to you.
Now, if you don't give it to me, I'm going to come down there and take it. Well, very good, Mir. And I got to say that that rig sounds 100 times better than that SGC. Now, there is no comparison. Your audio is nice and clear and sharp. Cuts off at probably 250 or so, I don't know, something like that, which is excellent for this. And I'm not getting that problem with the synchronous AM on this either. It's not jumping around in frequency. I'm not sure exactly what causes that, but that SGC was really driving it crazy. And this is just staying on there as stable as be. And somebody mentioned, I think last night, that maybe it was FMing. So I put it in the put it in the sideband mode and just listened to the carrier. I couldn't hear any frequency shift, but using upper sideband, just plain old upper sideband, it managed to pull you out okay. But that Electro Voice mic, I must be real happy with that rig because it's working good. Let's see what else. The Ranger on the no push to talk. Yeah, I heard you say that, so I assume it's got no push to talk, and that's a bunch of work. You know, you got to do that. You got to hope nothing else is wrong, like power modulation transformers and all that kind of stuff. So front panel, that's good. At least it's got a decent looking front panel. First Ranger I ever saw was in 1964, I think it was, and the guy that sold me my novice rig had one. He had upgraded to a Ranger back then, and I guess that was his general rig, and he was operating 20 meter AM and CW mostly, I believe, with a 20 meter dipole strung between two trees 6 feet off the ground. And he was working in the Europe very, very easily. Back in those days, conditions seemed to be a little better, I think. But he had that and what was it? Yeah, Hammerlin 170, HQ 170. That was a nice looking pair. So, Tony, it's a labor of love. It's just kind of a second hobby, I guess, an offshoot of ham radio that interests a lot of us. And I don't know. I've seen people that really don't know much electronics get into them and replace the capacitors and just have a great time and get them working and get them on the air. It's just a lot of satisfaction. So you just have to kind of take an interest in doing something like that. Otherwise, you could probably get some help from your neighbor there. He'd probably be glad to give you a few pointers. So let's see. What else am I up to here? I guess that's the main things that are going on here at Shelby. Waiting for the rain on Tuesday. Supposed to get 3.18 inches Monday night and Tuesday. Just can't wait. So we're sure making up for that dry spell we had. W4, oh, let me see. Does anybody else want to check in? It's not. W4JPL. N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ, W4JPL. Yeah, I'm just checking the weather. More rain. It's like, holy crap, we're like to drown today. Let's see. Yeah, see, Tuesday gonna rain. Potential for heavy rainfall. High 63. Chance of rain 100%. 1 to 2 inches of rain expected. Shazam. And Friday, chance of rain 60%. Saturday, chance of rain 40%. So I guess it's better than having snow. So there's a good way to look at everything, I guess. You were talking about the little wire inside your, or not a wire, that the rope inside your Viking 1. The Valiant has dial cord in it too. And I don't remember what it switched, but when I opened it up, I was kind of shocked to find that in there. I was like, really? One of the best transmitters Johnson ever made, and it's got dial cord in there? I think it was a switch in 160 in or out or something. I forget what. So, I guess you'll find little surprises every which way you look. K4QE, W4JPL.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that too. I had John's Viking 1 here for quite a while. I even operated it many years ago, and I don't recall seeing that when I poked around in there. So wow, I'm a little surprised. First time I've ever heard that. Yeah, like you said, Steve, it must have been an afterthought adding 160 to that transmitter. That's the only explanation. That would make sense. I mean, having everything else as well built as they did, and they screwed that up, that just doesn't seem right. But I don't know. But it certainly is a nice looking transmitter. I saw one for sale. So, I must have been on one of the reflectors. Either the old FriendsNet or one of the other reflectors on Groups.io. I saw that recently. I don't remember who it was that had it for sale. Yeah, nice old transmitter. Yeah, Steve, you're right. I mean, having John nearby is certainly an asset. And I know that he would give me a hand with something if I asked for it. And that is certainly a consideration. If I didn't have someone like him around, so close by, it would be a much harder decision to do. But like I said, I'm still hemming and hawing about it. My wife, she's another one. She's like, what do you want all that old junk for? You got this brand new radio sitting here, well, it's not brand new now, but you got this really expensive solid state transceiver here, and the best thing that they make, and you want that old junk. She just doesn't get the appeal that old stuff has to us. So anyway, over to you, Boone, W84EVK. And good evening there. Good to hear you tonight. This is K4QE.
K4QE in the group, W84EVK. Oh, that sounds familiar. I don't want to call it a collection, but gathering of junk has gotten pretty much overwhelmed the available space, so I've got to think I'm going to get rid of most of my drapes here and some other stuff and go from there. But, whoa, I've got a friend, Jerry Shore, in 8SH, that, golly, I think he needs one of these days to have a clearance sale. Steve knows it. Jerry gets excited about a particular model or brand of radio, and he'll end up with, several of them before he changes to something else. So he admits that he has a lot of fun. He is an RF engineer by vocation or by profession, I guess you'd call it. So it's kind of where he lives and works and so forth. And guys, I'm going to have to clear out here. I've got a couple things to do before bedtime here, and I'm going to have to just move on out. With that, I'm going to say 73, and hand it off to Mir. I'll listen for your finals, and then I'll be clear. WF2U to take it, WA4EVK. Enjoy it.
Sorry. WA4EVK. WA4EVK and the group. This is WF2U. Excellent copy all around. I actually took a video of this round, except I stopped videoing before I started to speak. And I swallowed the wrong way. Anyway, I was drinking a little bit of water here, and just as I was supposed to speak, I swallowed it. Gulp, and went the wrong way. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad this radio is working. It seems to be really doing fine on reception. I had the AGC before on fast, and now I tried, at least it has AGC settings. It has off, fast, and slow. So I had it slow before, now I put it on, I had it on fast before, I put it on slow. See if it makes any difference. It looks like it's in squelch mode. I don't know if it's automatic on AM, because I tried to set, I have to read the manual, because when I go into the menu for squelch, it's 0 to 20 something, and it was on 0, and I assumed that there is no squelch, but there is, and it kicks in depending on the RF gate setting. So I don't know what the other numbers mean. That means I have to refer back to the manual, which I never read that piece. Anyway, so I have something in the meantime. Maybe tomorrow I'll check out that AL1200, see what happened when I turn the AC on, if it's still crackling. And if it does, I really have to make room here on the operating desk and move everything else that is down on the desk itself, or the surface, and so I can slide it off the shelf and open it up. But anyway, so that's what I have to say. The next thing is to see why the microphone on the other radio is not working, that Furuno. But I also did the Midwest Military Radio Collectors group net this morning, on 40 meters, 72.96. We did it usually the first Saturday of each month. We do it on AM, but we had to revert to back to upper sideband because it was a little noisy. So I used for a change, instead of my Harris 500 watt system, I ran the ICOM marine transceiver, and I got comments on very good audio, and 150 watts was enough because I asked everybody if I should really turn on my Harris RF 350 with a 500 watt amplifier, and no need because I'm strong enough. So at least ICOM with its own mobile microphone seems to be also a good sounding radio, and it's a different microphone from what's built in 7300, but obviously it's a good match to the radio that it comes with. Anyway, so Boone, you are pretty strong, and John, you are also. Again, there is no S-meter on this thing. It's up to 10 bars. The bar display maximum. It also shows the output, relative output power for transmit, and everybody is like over about 6 and up, so it's not bad at all. Anyway, with that it goes to let's see. Okay, it goes back to Steve. N4LQ, WF to you.
All right. Does anybody else want to check in? F2U, N4LQ. A good copy from everybody. Boone signal, your carrier is strong. Audio is not 100%. It's not crisp or high like it used to be. It just lost its punch. But I was able to pull you out okay. Hopefully you can get something good going. Get your what was it? Your other LMAC or something on online pretty soon. Anxious to hear that. Well, I would say this, Tony, on the boat anchor business, and the way I look at it, and it's just the way I look at it, but from what I can tell, just about anybody can go out and buy a new radio and not have a brain in their head, plug it in, and don't read the manual, ask somebody how to use it, and they'll tell you which button to push, and you're on the air. Can't do that with vintage rigs. You got to have enough brains to read the manual, and you may even have to read a schematic, and I'm sure that most of us can wade through that pretty easy. So that kind of stuff I appreciate more than just going out and buy. Back in the old days, we used to call that kind of stuff appliance operators. They just go out and buy a radio, and doesn't really prove anything. And I guess the big hurdle is to try to understand the menus. That's the hardest part about new radios. But heaven forbid having to work on it. There's no way you're going to do that. So at least you stand a fighting chance with this old stuff, and it gives you a feeling of accomplishment when you can understand the piece of equipment you're using and occasionally manage to repair it, and then you get a good audio report, and that's the way it goes. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. And Mir, I'm hoping to Hope you pick me up on that video, because I'd like to hear how this thing sounds. The Viking 1 is about almost 70 years old, and the strings, the dial strings, are still good. I mean, I don't think anybody's replaced them. It's kind of amazing. And there's no way that I could have replaced this. I don't do well with dial strings. That's my downfall. And there's no schematic or pictorial showing you how to wind it. And the one pulley was buried down in the tank circuit. That would have all had to come out. And then there was another dial string that has to come out before you can get to this one. I just said nope. Now the other dial string controls the fine coupling control, and all it does is go through the front panel to a shaft to a pulley, and then up at an angle about 2 inches to another pulley to turn this capacitor. They could very easily have just run the shaft of that capacitor directly through the front panel, but for some reason they wanted the knobs arranged in a certain pattern, which is really silly. It wouldn't have made a bit of difference to anybody if they just run the shaft right straight through the panel. So I cannot for the life of me understand why they did things as they did. But if that goes, then that's what I'm going to do. I will drill a hole and put a knob on it and be done with it. And I'll have no more dial strings. I got a big blank place over here on the front panel to put a frequency counter also, which would be kind of, or maybe a VFO, a DDS VFO, build that in. And it doesn't bother me a bit to cut holes, drill holes and stuff in this stuff, because I'm not a collector, and I don't get all wrapped up in patina and all that, and somebody's already messed that up by refinishing the front panel with probably a slightly different shade of gray. So I don't care. That's what I would do. Back to you, John, W4JPL, N4LQ.
All right, N4LQ, W4JPL. Hello to Mir. I didn't say hello to you. Sorry about that, buddy. Yeah, my argument for boat anchors, number one, I enjoy them. I enjoy using them. I'm okay with working on them. But that's the key. As old as this equipment is, it still works. I got this shiny 7610 ICOM I'm talking on here, and 10, 15 years ago, if this thing craps out, you might as well throw it away, because I'm sure it's got proprietary chips in it or other parts that will be unobtainium at that point. Whereas my trusty Johnson van here, you can still scrounge up the parts for it, and you'll still be able to scrounge up the parts for it another 100 years from now, I'm sure. People will be squirreling away parts, so. And it's EMP proof. I'm sure you can't kill like this SX101 receiver so easily, or R398 for sure. So, you know, bring them on. We'll talk. We'll talk after the EMP hits. And throw a wire out the window there, if there's still a window to throw a wire out, and you're on the air. I'm going to jump out of here, boys. I am falling asleep in my chair. I didn't get my nap today. That's how busy I was. So 73, God bless, and probably talk to you fellers tomorrow night. K4QE W4JPL 73.
All right, John, real good. I'm not going to make this long so everybody can say goodbye to you, but yeah, Steve, I totally agree with your sentiment, as well as John's, and it's always been an allure for me ever since I was a little kid. And I actually do have a couple boat anchors in storage right now that I should probably make room for here on the desk and just do it. Anyway, I'll let me pass over to Boone so he can say goodbye to John so he can get out of here. WA4 EVK from K4QE.
Yeah, well, he's gone too. Boone has left the building, and that leaves Mir and me. And are you hanging around, Tony?
Yeah, I'll be here.
All righty, I can stay for another round. So go ahead. It's Mir's turn then. WF2U to take it. N4LQ, then back to me.
N4LQ and N4QE. This is WF2U. Yeah, I made sure that I recorded you too. So just now, just in case I didn't the first time. One thing that is a little negative on this radio. The audio, the receiver audio doesn't sound as good as on ICOM. It sounds a little tinny and kind of restricted a little bit, almost like just using like a lousy mobile speaker, and the ICOM M600 speaker is just beautiful. It sounds as if I had a nice bookshelf speaker, and for the size, it's just amazing how nice it sounds. But you know, what can you do? That's the way it is. I'm going to connect an external speaker, see if it does any better. It could be that just like the way the speaker is in this particular radio. Is not the best. They all have external speaker jacks in that, and so I'll try it next time with that. Anyway, what time is it? I have a little bit more time to spend here. So anyway, the power is adequate. Looks like. On AM, I'm surprised, but I read about this radio also that if you go into some tweaking inside, you can increase the power on this, the power output to 200 watts without any bad effect on the finals, because they are good for 250 watts. So 150 is really just throttled back. I guess they want more reliability on marine radios, and as far as I read, almost all of them are like that. That they have plenty of reserve, and also they have a pretty good SWR protection. Anyway, so that's what it is. I don't know how much rain we're expecting. All I know that Monday is going to be rain. Tuesday. I think we are expecting the rain Tuesday, unless it's revised. But altogether, from that couple of rainy days or day and a half, we got almost an inch and a half. And well, as long as it's not an ice storm, I'll take it. And anyway, both John and everybody's sounding good, except for except the speaker is not the best, but it's okay. Anyway, what else do I have to nothing else. So, one couple of things. I have to move some things around in the shack, and then I can bring my Valiant in, and also the Viking 2, and one of them can be dedicated to 160 with real AM with a real radio that goes in the dark. So that's it. Maybe the next couple of weeks I'll take a little bit of time. But I have so much to do around the house, and that's been pretty slow with some repairs, and I have to fix the fuel leak in my big tractor because the diesel is leaking underneath. I think the guy that did the annual checkup and solved the problem of the fuel line, I couldn't start it. He might have left one of the fuel lines a little bit loose. It tightened something, so I have to crawl underneath there and do it. And I'm not doing it when the weather is cold and wet. So that's it. So I don't know who it goes to now. I guess Boone is gone. Then it goes back to you, Steve, and then give it to somebody else if I'm out of order here. N4LQ WFTU.
All right, Miriam. That's N4LQ. Roger on the tractor leaking fuel. Yeah, he probably just forgot to tighten the hose up or clamp or something. You should be able to figure that out pretty easy and fix it before the rain hits, because it's still saying 3 inches for Tuesday here. Then next weekend, here we go again, another inch, and that's subject to change. They have been so close on predicting this stuff lately. It's just sort of amazes me, because they used to really change it a lot. I mean, just within the past year, I have seen a big improvement, and I use this Weather Underground weather report, and it has been right on the money as far as the amount of rain. And of course, sometimes the forecast is a week ahead, and there's nothing on the radar. All they've got is wind patterns and things to go by. So I've been really impressed with their ability to predict this stuff. And Tony, glad to hear you've got some boat anchors. I wonder what they are that you've got stashed away there. And well, if nothing else, do like I do. I use an SDR receiver. It's just hanging on the wall here with a little bracket, and this thing will outperform anything else as far as notching out all the garbage. And a boat anchor receiver, it would have a tough time. It would probably work, but it would have a tougher time at it. And I've got a few of those sitting right here. I can switch them on if I want to, but I'm doing the live stream on YouTube, and they're not too conducive to doing that. And 73 is to John, and yep, EMP proof radios. That's I don't know. I'm not totally convinced about EMPs yet, but who knows? I don't know if they've been able to prove that, or exactly what would happen in case of if that actually is a thing or not. And if they did nuke us with one of those EMP pulses, so it didn't do anything but just take out the grid, that's pretty scary. I'm just not sure that would work. Don't know. So, Tony, go ahead and take it. K4QE, N4LQ.
Okay, I dragged my feet a little bit because I thought I heard someone key up at the beginning of your transmission there, Steve, but I guess not. I have a pair of DX100s in my garage. I picked them up several months ago. One of them is fully working. The other one is supposedly has some sort of a problem but I picked it up anyway because I got a great deal on it by buying both of them from the same guy. And I figured, if nothing else, it's a spare part unit for the other one. So yeah, I love the X100s. I've always liked them since forever. So I just think they're a very nice looking radio transmitter, and they seem to, the ones that I've heard on the air sound pretty good. So I managed to find one that was for sale for a decent price, or two of them, I should say, and they were a deal being bought together, and that's what I got sitting out in the garage. And I have an SDR receiver. I think I mentioned to you before. I have an SDR Play, the RSP2. So I've got one of those as well. And that would probably make a pretty decent station. But it's going to make room on the desk. I don't have room on the desk right now for a DX100 to be placed here. I'd have to rearrange things quite a bit, but I could probably swing it. Got to be a little creative, but I think I could do it. I haven't tried the transmitter since I bought it, but the guy I bought it from, there was a picture he had taken literally a week or two before he put it on the internet, and he put it on the amphone.net website, and I contacted him, and we met in Pennsylvania, not too far from Carlisle, PA. And that's where I picked them up. That's where we met, and I got the transmitters. And they've been sitting in my garage ever since. So, I forgot. I also have an NC183D receiver, which I picked up in Charlotte last year, and that is working as well. It was not initially working when I got it. John worked on it and got it all fixed up, and it now works. And that's actually sitting in the hallway right outside of my office here. So so I do have a boat anchor receiver as well, and I've always liked the looks of the 183D, plus its reputation for having an excellent audio chain. So that's why I was excited to get that. I got that for $100 from a guy in Charlotte. So anyway, that's what I got. And you're right. I should get them on the air and fire these things up. So John suggested that I get one of those racks from like Home Depot or something, in those metal racks, and stack the two boat anchors, the DX100 and the 183D on the rack, and do it that way. And of course, I also have an R390 that I got at Benson, which I bought, and I decided I was like, him and Hawn thing going on again, and John said he would take it off my hands, but and John's probably rolling his eyes if he's still listening, but I'm tempted to hold on to that. This R390 is a real nice shape, and again, I would just stick it on the rack with the DX100 if I decided to do that. So that's the rundown here. I also have an RME 69 that I've had for many years sitting out on my shed. It's in pretty sad shape, but it hasn't been turned on in close to 20 years, and frankly, I'd be afraid to turn it on now. But that's the rundown here. Over to you, Mayor. WF2U from K4QE.
Roger, N4QE, this is WF2U. You started to fade a little bit towards the end, but not too bad. And I think the noise level is coming up a little bit. Anyway, it's still 100%. Well, yeah, I usually for me, although I have an SDR receiver, but somehow it seems strange to me, as far as I'm concerned, to pair it with a bolt anchor receiver. I mean, I would use an SDR to see whether there is any activity and scan the bands quickly. But as far as running it with a transmitter like Steve, I don't know. Somehow it would be half of the fun of using real bolt anchors. Well, anyway, so but that's me, everybody, and the hobbies. I happen to be actually a big receiver freak, and I love receivers, especially professional receivers, either marine or point-to-point communications or like real professional stuff, and also military. And my DX100, for example, is paired with an NC300. That's the way I've been using it for a long time. And it's time to find out why the DX100 all of a sudden stopped having plate voltage. But that's another day. So anyway, I think I'm going to say 73 to everybody and sign off here, because it's my time to go in just about now, within the next 5 minutes. So, Steve, I'm going to, as usual, I'm going to upload it to Dropbox, and then I'll email the link to the video. So 73 all. Steve, thanks for running the net, and thanks for the report, and everybody else who participated. More fun, more people, more fun. And take care all, and good night. So, N4LQ, this is WF2U 73. We'll be here tomorrow night, I guess.
Okay, WF2U N4LQ. Well, we'll say 73s to you. I'm going to get off of here too, but I totally agree with the pairing of the transmitter and the receiver needing to somewhat match, and I'm overcome with guilt and remorse every time I turn this thing on. But I have to stream, if I stream live on YouTube, I have to use this anyway, and I've got a T here. I can connect the vintage receiver in parallel with the input on the SDR, and there's very little difference in the signal level. It's just a matter of whether or not I want to subject myself to the audio from the vintage receiver or the SDR. So right now I've got the guy on 1860 totally out of the passband and opened up on the upper side, and I've got the noise reduction on and the noise blanker, and well, everybody sounds pretty good. So I don't think it would be quite that good with the PMR7, which I've got here, and also a few other little receivers I've got. But anyway, and also I know what frequency I'm on too, and I can see that I'm off just a tad, just a little bit low. And I've got the VFO that I'm using, let's see, and that's a little closer, is a WRL that was made for the Globe King, and the knob turns backwards. So if I want to go up in frequency, I turn it counterclockwise. How's that for a dial stringing job? All right. Yeah, I did a little work today, put together a bookcase for the XYL that she had ordered from Walmart, and it's about 7 feet tall. It had a lot of little pieces and parts I had to assemble and so forth, and so that about wore me out, man. I'm glad that's over. So anyway, Tony, it's great to talk to you, and I do encourage you to give something out there. And that, if I were you, I wouldn't put them on the same desk as my other rig. I'd start all over again. I like the idea of some kind of a roll around two-tier type table. Doesn't have to be a rack, just a multi-level table with some nice casters on it, and that way you can spin around and work on them as you see fit. That would be the ideal situation. That's the way my amplifier is that I use, the Ameritron. It's down under the desk on a little platform that has casters on it, and I can roll her right out and do what I need to do and roll it back in. So guys, thanks for showing up tonight. It's been a good net. Appreciate everybody that showed up. Have a good Saturday night, and tomorrow is Sunday, so have a good Sunday. And let's see, the net tomorrow is at 4 p.m. on 3715. I'd like to see you there. So 73s, Tony, over to you for your final. K4QE, N4LQ.
All right, Steve, thank you very much, and good to hear everyone on tonight. Enjoyed myself, and I will certainly take your comments into consideration. I'll have to look around and see what I can find that'll handle that DX100. As you know, they're a little hefty. So anyway, I will start looking. If you have any suggestions, please email me. Let me know. So, all right. Well, have a good night, everyone, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. I intend to try to get on the net on 3715. So, hope to hear you there. WF2U in a group. This is K4QE. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, good night, Tony. 73, and it was good to hear you. K4QE and N4LQ. This is WF2U. 73. Good night.
Good night, N4LQ, closing the net.